And now it's time for White Birch Books Corner with Laura Cummings. Good morning, Laura. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm so excited. I get to do the book corner with you.
I know. I missed you last time.
I know. So this is great. You brought in quite a selection of books, but you sort of have a theme that you want to talk about.
I have a theme: sequels and series, because that's so big. It's big in the movies. It's and it's big in books.
Yes.
So
absolutely. So what are some of the hot ones coming out this summer?
Well, we were just talking about this.
Oh my gosh.
We'll have to keep. But
Outlander today.
Outlander starts tonight on TV.
9 o'clock, I think, right?
Yes, I think so.
Uh-huh.
Jamie and Claire, their star and time-crossed romance.
Yes. And for those that like the historical fiction, that was one of the books that really, I was like, oh, it's not just, the typical chick romance thing.
Right.
Actually, you can learn a little bit about Scotland.
You can learn a ton. I remember when I had read a few of the books and I went to Scotland.
You went to Scotland?
I did. And I'm like going, oh, this is where this happened. This is where this happened. And they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, I know it from Diana Gabaldon. I know it from Jamie and Claire.
Yeah, absolutely. She's done a lot of research.
She's done a ton. And this is her newest book in the series. It just came out about a month ago. And I think this makes, for the straight series, I think this is book number 8. She's written a few offshoots and things like that, but this is book number 8. So you can start with Outlander, and they're all about this size. You can see, I mean,
it's
they
a
are.
Great summer read, though.
You just get right in, and they're great, just fantastic books. So
I like them too.
And they take a while. So when one comes out, it's a big deal. She takes 2 or 3 years in between books, so it's quite exciting.
Yes, and the whole Outlander things now that's on Stars is sort of this huge upswelling of, and I'm sure they're flying off the shelves now because everyone wants to get.
They are, and we were saying you can watch the first episode for free, and so get your taste and then go to the books, because the books are always better.
Yeah, well, the character development in the books is so much more complete because they just don't have the time.
Right,
on TV,
and that free will just give you that taste.
Yeah, so go read. Excellent. Okay, so what else?
Well, what else?
Diana?
Let me just jump down into the young adult.
Okay.
I was on a plane recently and watched the movie Divergent. And I liked it.
Right, and the book's good too.
The books, and I'm right now reading the 3rd book in the series. I mean, I should be reading 20 million other things, but I'm reading the Divergent trilogy. This is by the same author, Veronica Roth, and she just came out with this book 4, which is one of the characters from that series, the very cute one in the movies.
Now, the guy's name was 9, though, wasn't it, or something?
No, 4.
It was 4?
It was 4.
Okay, so this is the 4.
This is stories about 4, and I haven't read this yet, but I don't know that everybody knows it's out, but it's out, and we're selling it really well, and it just kind of, the series ended, and when series end, when the little trilogy ends, it's a sad thing.
You're right.
And so this just gives you a little more taste, you can jump back into that world a little bit. So that is out and on the shelves and fun.
Great.
And I guess one of my favorites, this is The Silkworm, which is the first book in this series was called The Cuckoo's Calling. Now, Robert Galbraith is, you might have heard of her, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, just a little bit.
just a little bit. Anyway, she writes under this pseudonym for this series, and it's a detective series.
She writes as a guy?
Yeah. I think she put it out, when she put out that book, it was a huge series. Secret. It took like 6 months before it came out that it was her. And then it just blew up after that. And her main character is a private investigator who is a war vet. He has he lost a leg in the war below his knee, so he has a prosthesis, and he's a big guy. His father, who does not claim him, is a famous rock star.
Oh, jeez.
And I mean, it's this great backstory. And his name is Cormoran Strike. And I would read the bike just for that, Cormy, but Cormoran Strike.
Wait, so is that a mystery or what?
It's like a detective. The first one was a supermodel falls to her death, and they all think it's suicide, and he investigates and uncovers the truth. This one is very funny for me, particularly because it's about an author who gets murdered in the same way his latest book ends, which is very grisly. So it becomes like, who knew about the book, who did it, and everything like that. So it's very publishers and agents and editors. It's very funny.
Oh, good.
Because they sort of do want to murder people every so often. So I'm just loving it. They're great. It's not Harry Potter. It's not Harry Potter.
What a great place you have, though, because not only being the owner, you get exposed to all
my fun
these
stuff.
Yeah,
I know. Well, let's do something in your pocket. Let's just start with this little one.
Well, we just had Paula from Zeb's on the set talking about maple.
Right. Well, this is fun, and I brought this because this is the second book in a series by Jessie Crockett. She's a New Hampshire author.
Great.
And her main character's family owns a maple syrup production company. And, not production, that sounds really big, but they make and sell maple syrup. And so these are what's called a cozy, meaning it's a mystery, it's a murder mystery, but it's not overly violent.
Right.
There's a lot of great characters. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And that's a real fun, simple
Now, what's the
read.
age on this, sort of?
Oh, it's not for kids necessarily. Okay. I mean, younger people could read it, but it's, it's a fun one to take to the beach and just have a little raw,
short,
nothing crazy.
Yeah.
This one is for young adults too, and this is a 3-book series, and this is the final in the book. It starts, I think the first one is the testing, and the second one's independent study, and this is graduation day. I call her, the character in this is kind of a kinder, gentler, smarter Katniss, and but of course it's dystopian fiction and everything like that. But all 3 books are now out, which makes it fun, so you can read the whole cycle. And it's a much more a thinking. She's a very strong character, but it's more thinking as opposed to shooting it with a bow and arrow.
Sure,
not that that's what Katniss does all the time.
Well, she kind of does. She shoots a lot of bows and arrows.
Yes, not as many boys in this one. And this one I brought. Discovery of Witches is another one of my favorite trilogies. This is the first book in the series, and I'm going to say it. It's witches and vampires.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, I know people go, oh God, not another vampire book. But Deborah Harkness is an Oxford scholar, and so these books are chock full of history and great information, and it's not your teenager's vampire book. And
so this is for the adults.
It's definitely for the adults. It's fascinating stuff. They time travel, much like these guys do, and go back to Victorian England, which is really cool. And so the third book, the final book in the trilogy, just came out. People were waiting. I mean, she kept writing on her Facebook page, please stop yelling at me. So the third book finally came out, so you can read that as a whole complete series. And I just loved it.
That'd be a great gift, all 3.
Yes. And they're I mean, like I said, it's the same thing. You learn a ton of history, same as in this. And I don't like to read a book that's just a total throwaway. I do like to learn something.
Right.
And but I don't read a lot of nonfiction, and so I get my stuff from these, and so that's just a wonderful.
Okay, so Discovery of Witches, that's the first book in the trilogy.
Right.
But you have all 3 in the store?
We have all 3 in the store. Okay. Now, I had to bring Kathy Pelletier. She's like one of my faves, and she is a Maine author. She always, when she talks about it, she goes, Maine looks like a hand, and or I guess like this. And anyway, so she lives up here at the very, very top. She's like Bangor is about here or whatever.
Right.
And so she's from the Allagash region, and her books are all set up there for the most part, and they are. I don't know, they're great characters. They're always a little bit funny, they're a lot like life. And I used to keep telling people, you got to read Kathy Pelletier, but then her books were all out of print. And it was terrible.
How does that happen to an author?
It just,
they don't sell as well? Or?
These have been out for a while, but she changes publishers or things like that. That kind of thing happens. But what she did, she hooked up with a new publisher, and they have re-released all of her old books. And what's really cool about it is that she has been able to go back in and kind of re-edit them. And so any mistakes she found, she teaches writing a lot, and she was saying that her students used to say, well, you say never to do that, but you did it, and whatever.
So now she can go
she went and fixed all those and everything.
Nice.
But
that's awesome.
So she has about they're either set in the Madagash, which is up in the Allagash, or Bixley, Maine, and they are really. So you're not at the you're not at the ocean. There's no lighthouses in these. And they're just really, really good. And I'm so happy they're back out now. She just really is a favorite of mine. And I don't think, because she's kind of been out of the scene for a while, she just doesn't have the readership. So I am on a one-woman crusade to change that.
Now, what would be the gist of this story? Can you give us a little insight?
Well, they're really life stories, and so there's always something. Like her most recent, A Year After Henry, talks about a man died at the age of 40, and this is a year later, and it's kind of how his wife and family and brother and parents and his mistress and how they're all coping, and it's all mixed in there, and like I said, a little bit funny, a little bit sad. She always has some quirky characters. She's got a lot of mailmen.
A lot of
I asked
mailmen?
her, I said, what's your thing with mailmen? She goes, I don't know.
They just keep appearing. Excellent, okay.
But she obviously has a thing with mailmen.
And is this relatively new as far as what she's released?
This is her first book, actually.
Okay.
This is the one I brought, her very first book that's now back out. But she does have a brand new one called Year After Henry. Which,
that's the one you mentioned.
Yes, and they're all just, you can start anywhere. You don't have to read them in order. They all stand alone. But read Kathy Pelletier.
Okay, great. And you can find them, of course, at White Bich Books.
We've got a whole shelf of her right now.
Very cool. I love the books. Now, did we cover the ones that you really wanted to focus on?
I think so. I think we hit the high ones. I always bring way too many, and I always like to end with our other
I know. Well, I'm coming
stuff.
into the store because I forget if we were on air when we talked about it. It's nothing bad, but it's that you have this whole line, and the socks. Do you still have the socks?
We still have the socks.
Are they above the knee or below the knee?
They're knee socks for women, and they're mid calf. We have 4 or 5 styles for men too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So there's not just books at White Bich Books.
Right.
You can go there and spend all day looking through. You have kids section, you have the upstairs.
Right.
But you also have this thing that Phineas has helped you out with, the counter. And it's all like the coolest little knickknacks and things that you can't find anywhere else. How cool.
I just love these, and I keep saying to Phineas, "Can I buy this for you?" He's 11, so he's not going to do that now. But these are actually from Europe, and this corduroy thing is so hot. And okay, so this is preschool back to school wear.
Preschool back to school.
Yes, it's necessary, but these are so cute.
They are
it's
very
a little
cute.
backpack. We have a cow one too that has a little udder.
Well, sometimes, especially if the kid has any reservations about going to school, they don't know how cool it is.
Right.
Sometimes just a little gift to get them excited, and maybe their focus on something else is the way to go. And this would be a perfect preschool.
And we do have other ones, but these were my favorite, and they're so cute. And even if it's just like your on the go, on the road play bag, grab your elephant, and it's got all your stickers and markers or whatever
that they
in
can
it.
keep their stuff in. And
so these have just always been one of my favorite,
Yeah, and you can find these and many, many other items.
Oh, I've been ordering like crazy, and it's just like I feel like I'm shopping for myself, so I start getting guilty. But no, we have all these fantastic things coming very soon.
And how can people find you?
We are online at whitebirchbooks.com, and that's where you can see our events and our book groups and things like that.
Signings and all that sort of stuff.
That's right. And then otherwise, we're right in town. We're just south of the park.
It's a beautiful shop.
And across from TD Bank is what I like to say. And of course, we share a parking lot with a defunct gas station.
That's the unromantic side.
Yes,
White
very
Birch Book
unromantic.
It's a great environment, though.
Right. And
you get past the gas station.
Yes, but the place looks great. They recently redid the walk-in, so it's like instead of follow the yellow brick road, it's like follow the slightly pink mauve cement road into. It's really cute. And then just
stained
come in.
glass there.
We get so many comments. We have like a guest book, and it's really warms my heart, and I don't mean to it's not like bragging, but people like, oh, this was so wonderful, I had no idea what to expect, and we get people come year after year, and especially this time of year, they come in and we're like, oh, hi, how are you? And it's like, we stop here every year.
Well, every bookstore really does have their own flavor.
Yes.
And coming into your shop is just a whole lot of fun and intelligence in these books that you can't find anywhere else, and your staff is amazing, because every time I go in there, if it's only to get a gift certificate for a kid's birthday party or to find a gift, they've been amazing. Like I called them on the road the other day and I said, I need this book. it's a birthday gift, and she was like, tick, 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 tick. She's like, we can get it. I'm like, okay. And so I'm going in today.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the socks.
Oh, good.
I'm so excited. You have a peacock feather one or something? Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to take a look at the whole selection.
Very good.
As well as pick up my special order. So you can also do that for folks as well.
Definitely special order. And things happen very quickly now. So people are always like, oh, I'm only here. And it's like, well, how long are you here for? It's like, well, I'm here through Sunday. It's like, don't worry, we'll get it on Friday. And they're like, really? I mean, it doesn't always happen that way,
No,
but
I
for
think- no, but
you know,
it was-
90% of the time we
I
can
called on Friday, it was in by Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that was...
we can turn it around really fast and get what people need. And you know, it's fun. I always say, you know, 99.9% of the people who read and buy books are fantastic. So we like working there because we work with great people who come in, and it's just fun. And of course, yes, we all read. So start asking us what
and
we
the
like.
recommendations I like too. The little cards you go in, they say why they liked it, or if you like this book, then you'll like this book. Check this out. So it can get you on a whole other tangent that you never knew that you might enjoy.
Yes, we're not an algorithm. We're real people reading real books.
There you go. Well, again, White Birch Books, online at whitebirchbooks.com.
That's right.
And then right just south of North Conway Village proper, and you can find them right on the right, heading south.
Yes.
So Laura, always a pleasure. I'm going to see you later on in the shop.
Great.
And folks, definitely take a look at this bookstore. It's a lot of fun, and it's locally owned, so we like that too.
We do.
All right, thanks again.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more here on White Mountains Television.